Welcome to How to Daydream Your Way Out of Writer's Block, a step-by-step guide for novelists to jumpstart your creativity. Thank you for taking this course. You'll be glad you did because I'm about to share with you some things I've learned over going on 3 decades as a writer now, and save you a lot of wasted time and effort, maybe even some tears. You see, one of the biggest obstacles you'll face as a writer is writer's block. I know because I spent 20 years writing my first novel in the nooks and crannies of my busy day while I was working as a journalist, translator, teaching myself Russian, getting a master's degree, raising a family, and all the things that those activities require of you. And when I was writing, a good portion of the time I was battling writer's block, wondering what the heck to do next and where this thing is going. Well, if any of that sounds familiar, just keep on listening. Hi, I'm Jim. I'm the author of The Vagabond King, a book I wrote over a period of 20 years because for a large part of the time I was battling writer's block. Sometimes I'd just give up completely for weeks and even months at a time. As you can probably imagine, it was a very frustrating situation. But then one day I realized a strange thing. Once I had completely given up and stopped trying, the solution to the problem I had been working on would come to me as if magically from nowhere, and I would go back to writing with as much enthusiasm or more than I had before. I didn't know how or why this happened until much later, but I knew I could count on it like clockwork, and you can too. This is just one of the things you're going to be learning in this course. In fact, you'll learn not only how this works, but the why it works as well, and even how to speed up this process so you can move forward with your own writing. In this short course, I'm going to teach you what took me 20 years of trial and error, and a lot of frustration as well to learn. We'll take a look at some of the most common sources of writer's block and how they can affect you. Because if you don't know who or what the enemy is, then you're just throwing punches in the dark. We'll also learn exactly what this thing called creativity is and how you can harness it. Because if you don't know what resources you have and how they work, you'll never be able to overcome writer's block. We'll also take a look at the human brain and how the mind works. Did you know you actually have 3 minds and 2 types of intelligence? Well, you do. By the end of this short course, we'll put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you'll be able to focus your thoughts and literally daydream your way out of writer's block. Again, this is something that took me 20 years to figure out, but because you're watching this course, it'll take you only an hour or less, and you'll have saved yourself a lot of heartache. Now, every writer is at a different stage of ability. Some writers are just beginning, and some writers have decades under their belt. If some of the groundwork I discuss in the next few slides seem rudimentary to you, just bear with me. I've got to talk about point A in order to get to point B. One thing I know is that whether you're a newbie or a master is that writer's block affects us all the same. The other thing I know is that this is not your typical writing course. You're not going to find teachers talking about what I'll teach you here in this writing class in Writing 101 or even Writing 320. The things I'm going to teach you about are how to think and how to create and how to come up with solutions to your writer's block so you can apply them to any area of your life. Psychologists tell us that the average human being must hear something repeated 7 times before he listens. Perhaps this is one of the reasons I still don't know when to take out the garbage. That being said, you might find me repeating things. I've structured this course so that I'm telling you what I'm going to teach you. Then I'm going to tell you what I'm teaching you, and then finally, I'm going to tell you what I taught you. Now, the stuff I have to teach is not rocket science, but it will be new, and anything new takes a little while to sink in. To that end, I'd like to ask you to leave a comment at the end of each section because your point of view might add something to the conversation from an angle that's different than I or other students see it. This way we can have an ongoing discussion that is a much richer way to learn than me just flapping my lips and telling you what I already know.